Welcome to the Women Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda the Money Healer, and today's episode is coming from our live webinars where you get to hang out with me and other women entrepreneurs to learn about money mindset, manifestation, and business scaling strategies and get your questions answered. To join us, go to thewomenontrepreneurpodcast.com where you'll see the link to register for the webinars at the top of the page. Can't wait to see you there. Hello, gorgeous NFA money mamas. It's time for a biz breakdown session on the Women Entrepreneur Podcast. So excited that you're here today. This is fun because we're actually recording this episode on International Women's Day, and that is March 8th. It won't be released on that time, so when you're hearing this, that will have passed. But it's really exciting for us to be here together on this day because I have the founder of the Brave Women's Transformation Project. So we're going to have a really incredible conversation about empowering women through theater and what Lucia's business is. And so let's see if I can say her full name, Lucia DiVieste Severtson. Did I get it?
You got it. That's right.
Yay. Awesome. So Lucia is here and we're going to have a good conversation. As you know, these biz breakdown sessions are a way for if you want to come on, shout out your business, get some business advice. It could be stuff around mindset, manifestation, business scaling. We shout you out, share your journey, and go in the direction that you want to go in terms of having me give you any advice or tips, tools, coaching on how to scale your business more easily. If you want to join and you haven't yet, go to thewomenontrepreneurpodcast.com. At the top of the page, you'll see two buttons. One button is for the biz breakdown session, like the one you're going to hear today. And another one is for the Women Entrepreneur Podcast Party. This is a really cool place for you to hang out with other women entrepreneurs who are listening to the podcast and who want to come on and have a panel discussion about a business topic and shout out your business. So it's great free exposure for you. It's a way to meet other cool women entrepreneurs. It's my way of building communities through the podcast. So you are welcome to come to one or both, and I would love to see you there. Let's get started on our biz breakdown session today. Welcome to the show, Lucia.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for reaching out to me and inviting me. Really happy to be here.
Yes. You know, I love that Lucia said that because I think that a lot of women sometimes have charges, like emotional charges on quote unquote selling themselves or promoting themselves. And one of the responses I get frequently is like, thank you for the invite. And that is how you want it to feel when you are quote unquote selling something or sharing something that you have and bringing people into your community. It should feel that way. Like, thank you for the invite. Because always remember, I have this in my book. It's an mantra called, I can't remember which mantra number it is, but it's I am water in the desert. So it's this concept of that for someone out there, they're looking for you. And when you find them, they're like, thank you. Awesome that you found me. It's not like, go away, you're a pain in the butt.
Right. Right. Yes. No, I don't feel that way when it reaches out to me.
Exactly. And so, and I think like, I'm sure you've experienced this. We found each other on LinkedIn. And I know the difference between those messages where it's like, hey, is this a fun fit? Let's hang out and talk versus like shoving something down your throat in a salesy way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I was just so taken aback by your genuineness and inviting me on and, and it just, your values seem to align with mine. So I was really excited about this. Yeah.
Yay. I love that. That's exactly what I like to hear. And that's how you want to be attracting people in your business, right? So let's talk about this. I always like to ask the very first question of you is if I could give you a magic wand in your business and say like, hey, you can create anything you choose to create by the end of 2023, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a question I always ask my clients as a therapist as well. And it's hard when it's like on the other side of receiving that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I get to dream a little bit. I guess I would love to have a much larger community of women that are part of the Brave Women's Transformation Project that are really diving into the power of bravery, community, creativity, play. Those are the 4 values that I create all of my programs and curriculum around. So I would love to just be able to have this more of like this legion of women who were in my program and really embodying those four values, because I truly believe that as women we need to create a different pattern of behavior between each other, as well as facing our fears and really moving forward from the patterns of behavior that we've been locked in for centuries. And I really believe that there needs to be more of a balance between male and female attributes in our American society and globally. But yeah, I guess I would love to have a legion of women who are doing this work and spreading this work throughout the country and the world of, come do this wonderful work of facing your fears, facing your giants, and finding out what else is possible for you, and also being part of this really, really supportive, large community of women. I don't do community the way other organizations do. When you walk into one of my programs and you're new to the program, there's no awkwardness coming in. Everyone just comes in and it's like you're part of this group now. Let's really invite this person in and make them, because what we're creating is a cohesive ensemble. In every workshop that I do is that women are learning to actually embody empowerment and to work with one another and create together, which I think is something that we're socialized to compete. And so my programs are very different in that way. It's like I'm trying to create not just a community, but a culture, a different culture between women, so that we are really really creating from our most authentic places.
Sure.
And so I guess, yeah, my dream would be to just have my own school of empowerment. That's a theater. It's a theater program for women where women face fear through theater arts, just on a much larger scale, and where they come to be able to be in performance and be held in that performance of authenticity, with people witnessing that. That's what I'm doing right now on a smaller scale. But I want that to be something much, much larger, where it's a school for bravery for women.
Love that. School of empowerment, school of bravery. These are you use so many amazing words. I love that. Embody empowerment. It's such a powerful concept. We talk about that a little bit. Like, when you embody empowerment, what does that, I want to say, like, what does it feel like? But it's like, what's the result of embodying empowerment?
I think, when I witness it and the women who come to my programs, it doesn't have any showiness to it. It doesn't have any arrogance or, any status, higher status to it. It has this really ground feel and look to it, and the sense of connectedness to themselves and to one another.
Yeah.
That's the way it looks to me. And that's the way I've experienced it for myself as well. As like, I don't, when I feel empowered, I don't want anything else from anyone except the connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it ties back to that piece you were talking about letting go of the socialized competition, that feeling between women. When you said the changing the patterns of behavior between women, that's what I was wondering, for you, what does that mean? What are those patterns of behavior that have been detrimental or negative for relationships between women?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that always comes up in my programs is competitiveness. It just always rears its head, that, this woman is more skilled at this. They're more imaginative than I am. They're more creative. They're more empowered. They're just all around better than me.
Yeah.
And so I just think that I find it in myself as well. Like I can't help but constantly, in the presence of women, be comparing myself, my body, yeah, my physical decorativeness, my intelligence, and all that is expected of women nowadays. Now we're in competition with that as well. Oh, she's a better mother than I am. Oh, um, she seems to have it all together. I don't. Um, really just this, and also I think this passive aggressiveness that also comes with between women as well. And that I think is a direct result of being socialized to compete and also not being socialized to have anger. Um, we we are not allowed to have it. Very rarely are we allowed to have it. And we have to have a really good reason for having it. And so when you swallow your anger like that, it usually gets projected out in other ways. And I think that we take it out on each other with a lot of passive aggressiveness.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I don't think you know much about me. My PhD is in sociology with a focus on women and gender studies.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
Yeah. So like everything you're saying, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. It's like, interestingly, I worked with incarcerated men and thought about their victimization stories. Like I did life history interviews with incarcerated men, but I taught sex, gender, and society for several years at university. And it's like, the things I think about all the time in terms of the patterns of how we relate to one another. And I think we often forget how, we often think it's men against women in a certain way. And really, it's like that competitive nature you're talking about between women is intense, and between men too, for men in between men. And then there's a cross, and it's, cross competition, but what it does is causes you to want to put on masks and shows and act different than you are to protect yourself from pain. Like that's really what it is. And so I love what you're doing in the world, because it sounds like, and we'll learn more there, but it sounds like you're helping people show up authentically by dropping all those masks in a theater setting.
Absolutely. I feel like you really get it. That is what I'm doing. And it's funny that you say that, because I had a participant. I just closed a 4-week monologue workshop for women, and at the end of it, one of my participants said, why are we doing this? Why do we all have to feel like we have these masks on? It's so freeing to take it off and just to be known, for who I really am. And, it just, as you said, it's like, we need to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And it's sad that we as women are protecting ourselves from each other.
Yeah.
And I will freely admit that when I walk into a group of women, that is what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it feels awful. It feels awful. And yet it feels safe. It feels it feels good and bad at the same time, right? Because we want to protect ourselves because we're scared of how people will judge us if we show up as our authentic selves. And so then it causes us to be fake, but then simultaneously it locks us into never being able to show up and feel all the things that feel the best, which to me is connection. It's like, I love connecting with people, and you can't do that on a deep level if you have a whole bunch of masks.
You also can't tap into like what you desire either, and who you really are. I mean, it's like not, that's the other thing, is like being socialized to not have any desires or wants.
Yeah.
Because we're too busy with this as well. It's too hard to access.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. I was doing a meditation the other day, and it was a really cool lesson because he was talking about how pain causes you to be selfish. And it's like, I would say the pain of disconnection causes you to think about yourself. So when, that example you use, like when you walk into a group of women and you're sizing them up basically against yourself, you're going like, how do I fit into this scene? And I do it too, and it's something I train myself out of doing because we have been socialized to do it. And so it's like, in order for me to have a connected experience, let's say even with you right now, I got to drop all the bullshit and tap into intuitively connecting with you, which if I'm worried about myself, I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you can let that go and just be present with someone. It's like a huge gift. It makes me want to cry right now. It's like, like that's the gold to me.
It is a huge gift. And like from a psychotherapist standpoint, like when that's happening, that's like you're accessing like the authentic, the real self, not like all the other parts that, we just kind of accumulate over our lives and what we experience, right? Like, it's the true part when you're just like really listening and coming with like curiosity about someone and just compassion too.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love your quest in the world. So that's awesome. How long have you been doing what you're doing? And share your business name. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you'll see it on the screen, but go ahead and spell it out for people who are listening on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is bravewomentransform.com. And I'm sorry, what else did you want?
Sharing, how long have you been in business?
Oh, how long have I been? Yeah, sorry.
No problem. I did throw several questions at you at once.
So I've been a psychotherapist for 12 years now, but I had a mental health crisis actually myself about 4 years ago. And through my recovery in that, I realized that I didn't feel good about how I was handling my work or what I was choosing to focus on. I had a very general practice. I saw both men and women with all diagnoses, and it just I just wasn't. It was like a gig that I had right outside of motherhood. It was just a way that I kept my foot in the door of the work. But through my recovery, I realized I really felt passionate about working with women, and that a large part of my mental health crisis was because I had fallen into a lot of gender stereotypes, a lot of really destructive patterns of womanhood. And so my recovery was about facing fear. I have an anxiety disorder. And so I decided that I was going to create a program in which I would help women to do that through basic psychotherapy techniques. But also I'm a dance movement therapist. I'm certified in dance movement therapy and somatic therapy. And I also wanted to combine my work as an actor. Before I became a therapist, I was an actor. And I had a lot of training in physical theater, which is how to embody characters. And I decided to mesh it all together and allow women a space to really be able to be in community and supported in their journey of bravery. And theater arts it's not about becoming a performer. It's just a vehicle to face fear and to be able to be in those 4 core values that I talked about: bravery, community, creativity, and play. So I started the Brave Women's Transformation Project in 2020, right when the pandemic started. But I was in a really crucial time in my recovery when this was a large part of me, the healing that I was doing myself in creating this. And so I just went for it. And it's been a process in coming out as a not just a psychotherapist, but a therapeutic director, right? And so I think that's one of the things I would love to talk about, and just owning that as well. Yeah. I'm not the traditional psychotherapist. I'm offering something that is out of the box, but extremely powerful and healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, wow. It sounds incredible. And I love that, I'm scanning to think about different places that we build businesses from, and, that inspiration place where you're transforming yourself and then sharing your gifts with the world through your transformation. I think it's such an amazing place to be because, it's like you only need to be one step of the people that you're guiding. and
Right.
you attract those people who tend to want what you have discovered. And so it's just such a powerful place to be. And I know, it's interesting when I think about like theater performance, it makes me feel stressed because I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, and I think that's, I think I can see how that would be a very therapeutic setting because you're putting yourself out there very vulnerably, and then you get to transform that fear. And that's, it's like you're creating a self-induced situation to break through your fear. Really cool.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also what you just said, right? That's when I talk about my work, a lot of women are like, cool, that sounds great. Maybe not right now, though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, just being able to talk about it in a way of like, I really creating safety is so important in the work
Yeah.
that I do with these women. And that's always the first step of
Yeah.
of what I do in my workshops is this really taking the time to make very safe space. And it's amazing what you can do when you feel safe.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen women who, with, they're really in their shell and really wrapped in bubble wrap, come in and, just this amazing expansion that happens because they feel safe enough to explore.
Yeah. And I know that's like, for some people, that's the first time in their lives they have been in a safe space that they get to. The word that came to me when you said it, I was imagining blossoming. It's like blossoming into yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's an incredible gift you bring to the world. Oh, so amazing. Okay. Will you share just like struggle, challenge, anything that you see I can help you with in terms of scaling your business, helping it be louder in the world, make a bigger impact? Because I know, tying back to that original is having a much larger community. I'd love to hear from you where you feel like you're stuck.
Yeah. So it has been hard. It is hard to attract women into this work, and I do have a general following happening right now, but I am struggling to. I would love to make my online community even bigger. Honestly, I do have a community, but it's I have about 25 women in that right now. And I think I would just love that to be more of a space that can grow even bigger so that women can share the work that they're doing with me as well and keep creating that because they create community outside of that with each other. They're going out all the time with one another, sharing new experiences, taking risks together.
Yeah.
What they're doing. Like I had a group of women go to karaoke together just to have that experience of facing that fear.
Yeah.
Together. And so I'm wanting to create like that larger online community.
Okay. That sounds incredible. One thing, and I know I asked you what your struggles were, so you framed it that way. Always remembering reframes in terms of, it's hard to attract women into this, the word you use, it's hard to attract women into this world. Let's play with a reframe there first, because when you tell yourself that, it becomes true, right? Your outer world's a reflection of your inner world, and anything we say, we're solidifying in the outer world. And so, I want you first to think of something different there, because even though, yes, I think everyone here listening right now could agree that we could have the belief it's hard to grow business. And when we say that to ourselves, it causes it to be true. So how could you reframe it? And do you know reframes at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's reframe that.
Yeah. Let's reframe this. It is, it's a really creative endeavor to help women to understand the work that I'm doing.
Nice. I like that. That's awesome. It's a creative endeavor. That's a great statement for anyone listening for a reframe. One I really love to use is I enjoy it when, like saying something along those lines, like I enjoy it when women are attracted into my community. Yeah. So it's like, I enjoy it. It feels good when women come into my community. I love it when women understand the power of what I do.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Like, I love it when women understand, because to me, that's what you're saying. The subtext of it is like, I have something that's really powerful, but they don't seem to, I don't know yet if women understand the power of it.
Yes. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Yeah. And I feel how, as you say that, like how that lands in my body versus, I love it when women come to me and are passionate about my work or understand my work. Yeah, that feels much different.
Yeah, good. And yeah, practice that. So it's like we always get what we focus on. And so if we're focusing on the struggle and the puzzle and we're focusing on not having enough, it's scarcity and it causes more scarcity. So instead, we want to always shift our point of vibrational frequency to something that we choose to have. And so it's always retraining our brain in that direction and reminding ourselves like, okay, wait. And I know everyone here can resonate with this because it's so automatic to go to the place of not enoughness and to go like, it's not growing fast enough. I don't have enough people in my community. People don't get what I do. People don't understand. Why doesn't anyone see me? That kind of thing, right? Yeah. And then we shift to like, I love it when people do see me. I love it when someone gets what I do. I love it when women feel and experience the power of theater transformation, like things like that. And, when I'm journaling, I'll just say those over and over and write, and I'll just see what comes up. And then, I do tapping, and so I'll tap it in and then I meditate on it. And then at the end of that session, you're like, high vibe. Yes. And then someone will email you and be like, I've been looking for you my whole life. That's how that works.
Yeah. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one piece. Okay. Let's play with when you said building an online community is a vision you have, building larger. What are you doing now to attract women to your online community or to your community in general?
Well, so right now, basically the women who come to my workshops automatically become part of that online community. So that is the way that I have been doing it because they already have a connection with one another. So I haven't yet just invited anyone to come.
Okay, got it. Can I ask, so obviously they pay for the workshop. Once they go to the workshop, then are they automatically enrolled into the community? Is it a membership-based community that's paid for, or is it free?
It's free.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So have you considered monetizing it? Some people like to do that. Some people don't. So I just want to ask if you've considered it.
I have considered it, and I would like to do that. I think that's, it's going back to this sense of fear and lack, which is funny because that's what I do. I get it. If through that, this fear of like, oh, well, if I charge for membership, I won't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's help you with that. What are the benefits? Let's list 5 benefits just right off the top of your head that come to your mind about that community, that extended long-term community that they get with each other, with you. What are 5 benefits to help your conscious mind be aware of it so that you can see the value of it more clearly?
I think just being able to have a community at their fingertips that they can go to for support. Mm-hmm. Also, just being able to expand themselves through that community, share creative ideas, take risks together as a community, and create together.
Yeah.
More so.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. So you said 5 already. So community offers support, helps them continue to expand. They get to share creative ideas together. They get to take risks together and then create together, right? Yeah. So in that, imagine a conversation with the current community where you are like, hey, what I would love to do is expand this community and I want to attract more people to it. Let's have a conversation around what it would look like to switch it to a paid membership. I'd love your feedback and have a conversation. This is a stretch for you in that money mindset way of asking for a win-win equivalent exchange for your time and energy and expertise, and also them having buy-in and recognizing it's a win-win exchange. The interesting thing that happens when we offer things for free is that people subconsciously feel out of balance because they feel like I'm taking advantage of this situation. They might not be conscious of it. And people will even ask for things for free. But what you'll notice is the people who ask for things for free are continuously asking for things for free. And it tends to be people who are very financially disempowered. And so they keep that cycle going. And so part of your quest to help them break through their fears and to be the power, like, I mean, the words you used, embody empowerment, is to pay for value, right?
Okay.
So it's modeling that for them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And that feels really good to hear.
Yeah. And then that way, I think a lot of people have fear of asking for money for something they've already given for free. So, you know, it's just like thinking of a relationship, especially it sounds like these women that you have in the community are very tight knit and they really have gotten a lot of value from you. I would be shocked if any of them had any resistance to you having that conversation at least, right? And so you could have the conversation and then let them decide, hey, I'm going to start charging for it for these people. What would you be willing to pay? I know you're already in here for free. What's a contribution you could make that would feel in equivalent exchange for both of us? Knowing that you've had it for free. I get that. And that way it sets the stage for new people coming in to pay, and it sets the stage for them to have some equivalent exchange of value.
I like that. Yeah.
Does it feel stuck for you at all, like to ask for that?
No, it feels aligned with bravery for me.
Cool.
You know? And so I think sometimes I just need somebody else to give me the permission to do that. So it feels great.
Yeah, that makes total sense. We all need that, right? I mean, and that's why you and I get to do our work in the world, and everyone listening, you know, this attracts entrepreneurs who are promoting themselves in the world and sharing their value. And it's like, hey, let's create win-win exchanges of bravery. And I love that word that you use. Will you share a little bit, like what does a brave woman look like to you? Like what is that embodiment of being brave?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think it looks like a woman even shaking in her boots, you know, like trembling and just doing something that is really scary and hard, but that she has a bigger value that means more to her than the fear that is taking her over. Of that, to me, is such a it's such a beautiful thing to watch too. And a beautiful thing for me to have embodied myself of like, this is really uncomfortable for me, but you know what? Like I really value, courage, and I really value community, and I want that, and I'm going to go towards that instead of listening to this.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. So feeling the fear, facing it, and then moving through it anyway, even though you're shaking in your boots, you're still showing up for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've had that experience yourself or watched anyone do it, but it's just like that. And for someone to let you watch that, right? That's what I love about the programs that I do, as well as it's so honorable for me to be able to watch their process of doing that.
Yeah. And that's the power of community. So the witnessing of each other causes you to be more courageous. And then you get to hold a space of courage for other women to feel vulnerable and be courageous. I think community-based stuff is like so powerful, especially in-person transformation. There's really nothing comparative, you know, like I can't think of anything that's more powerful. That's amazing. Okay. So then let's go back to also online community. So you said you have those women already, and then in order to attract them into that community, they've got to go through a workshop for you. So it's like the workshop is the gateway to the community, basically.
And I question that as well, of, you know, if that's the right way to go, or if it's you know, really just allowing women as like, maybe that's the toe dip into the community of finding out what is this all about, you know.
I'm curious, when women come into your first level of workshops, how many different types of workshops do you offer? Let's start there.
So yes, I offer a 12-week program, which is women coming together to create an actual show together. There's no script, and they create that. And then I offer what's called Brave Hearts Speak, which are just one-time workshops where women come to they get an introduction to drama therapy, dance movement therapy, and then they do monologues that are improv at the end of that workshop. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So it's those two. And then on the Braveheart Speaks, it's a one-time, or do you do different topics for that, or is it similar every time?
It's similar every time.
Okay.
Right.
How do you attract people to that? Let's start there, because it sounds like you're wanting to attract more people.
Yes, absolutely. Right now I have an email list, so I do send out emails about that happening. I try to do that leading up to the workshop coming up once or twice a week. Doing that, I also I post it on Facebook. It's an Eventbrite page. It's on my website. I try to talk about it, invite certain people personally through email as well. That's kind of been my go-to right now. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Two things. Well, first, I'm going to ask you about, do you have it on Meetup? Have you thought about that?
I do have it on Meetup. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's often I actually just started a Meetup group in Colorado Springs, and I forgot because I had one in Boulder when I very first started my business. And then I changed things up and dropped it and then moved to Colorado Springs. And I was like, oh, I need to do a Meetup. And it's been amazing to see how many people join, even for my online workshops and things like that, or webinars. And then I, of course, posted my live event. Email list. So if you're using your email list as like the main nurturing system, how are you growing your email list, would you say? Is it obviously through Meetups, Eventbrite, website, and talking to people, but do you have another, what's the main strategy there?
That is the strategy right now.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So everyone here, I was watching a really great video the other day on growing a speaking platform, and he was talking about how, if you don't have a system, it's going to die out or it's not a business. And I was like, that's so true. So we always want to be thinking about like, what is the main way, if I'm using my email list as the main way to get people converted into my programs, products, or services, how am I growing my list? Because that's my main lead gen tool. And so we want to have a really specific strategy. I'm curious, I know you said you get on other people's podcasts sometimes. I would imagine because you have in-person local events, podcasts are differently challenging because it's global audience potentially. So, in your position, I'd be thinking like local as much as possible.
Okay.
And I would be thinking, and I know you could, when you said you want to grow the online community, there's potential there. I love the concept of you having people come to your workshops and then that's how they get into the community. If that's the way you're going to go, I would definitely monetize it into a membership-based program, and talk to your women that are already there and have a really just in-depth conversation and a really vulnerable, like honest conversation. Like, here's what I'm thinking of creating. How does that feel to you? What price point sounds like it would be viable to you, and get their feedback first. And for everyone listening, this is always a really smart thing to do, is get market validation before you start something. So you want to talk to the people that you already have, if you already have them, and ask them for their advice and wisdom and experience, because they're your greatest source for knowing what will work in the future, because that's who's going to pay for it, right? Because often we get these ideas in our mind and we put it out there and then we're like, why isn't it working? Instead of asking our people, So that's one aspect of it. The other side of it is for email. I'd be thinking local events. I would also be thinking, how can I grow my email list locally? So, do you have any ideas before we start brainstorming?
Yeah. I mean, there's the theater community in Denver and the general area that I certainly could, actually, so something just came up. So I am partnered with a theater company here in the Denver area, and they have an email list.
Perfect.
As well. And so I wonder if I could even ask to be able to have some of those, those contacts.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So it's thinking about it, in coaching online world, it'll be like affiliate partnerships, right?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. And so notice how when you get your mind focused in the direction of clarity, where you go, what's the goal here? Grow the email list to nurture more people, to have more people, to grow the community, because my big why is to make a bigger impact through my company. Then you start to go like, how would I grow with the list with the right people? So everyone listening, you want to be asking yourself these questions that are very targeted, instead of, we often take that approach of like, let's just throw everything, like spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks. And so we want to have strategy around it. We want to go like, how could I grow my list with the right people? I had a fun idea pop into my mind while you were talking about your 12-week workshop, and that at the end they do a performance. If it would be, something that they're open to, and I don't know if this would work with your business model, but I was thinking like have a portion of it recorded and then use that as something you send to local individuals who you think would be good candidates, and then get every person in that performance to do a testimonial for what they experienced getting to work with you. And that's like something you start putting out into the universe, like, hey, here's what we create and here's the experiences people have. And then you start reaching out, like even on LinkedIn, type in, Denver, Colorado. And so listen, everyone here, just these strategies you can use for yourself. Type into Instagram, type into LinkedIn, Denver, Colorado, and you just start connecting with people. And it's like, I reached out to you. I don't know you, right? It was just like, hey, you're an entrepreneur, so this podcast might be a good fit for you. And I did it in a very non-gross salesy way, right? And it's just like, so similarly, you could do the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It really does. Yeah. I just had some ideas pop into my head.
Awesome. Well. Good. So. That's the goal. and this is what I want to remind everyone about. Like, we get stuck where we think like, I don't know what to do. And often it's asking the wrong questions, right? Because what we're focusing on is like, how do I get more people into my business? Like, that's the thought we have, instead of going like, wait, how do I get people into my business currently? And how could I do more of that? Like, first, you could even think, where have I already found the people I'm working with? How could I ask them for referrals? And where were they hanging out? And who do I already know who has my people hanging out in the right way? And what could I share with them that brings value and offers them something awesome without being salesy, and just so I'm exposed to them? Most of our business growth problems are just about exposure. It's just people don't know what you have.
Right. So I wanted to let you know that I actually do have a promotional video that I made. I have 2 of them, and I also have complete recordings of the 2 shows that I have done as well.
Okay. Yeah. And in those promotional videos, do you have testimonials from the women that have been?
I do.
Awesome. Okay. That's great. So it's like, in that way, it's creating something that's like, for me, when I message people, for like a product, program, or service, it's going to be along the lines of like pain points. And it's like, hey, are you experiencing this? Because I know a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. And then, it's building a relationship, and then being like, here, check, if this sounds interesting to you, check this out. And they're either going to say, oh my God, this sounds incredible, or they're going to be like, not right now, or they're going to say, go away. And when they say go away, fine, you're not my people, that's okay. When they say not right now, you have a follow-up system. I'm using the word really powerfully for everyone, system. And then if they say, yeah, I want to talk more, there you go, right? And that's like literally all we're doing as building businesses. I think in the online world, we get in this idea that we're like, people should just magically be coming to us without even knowing we exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do feel it does feel that way, right?
Yeah.
That you put yourself out there, and the right people will come to you, right?
Yeah. And that is true after you've built a lot of momentum. Like you will start to magnetize people your way through the momentum you've built, but that takes time. And it takes putting yourself out there, and I like to kind of think about dating. It's like imagining like you went on one date with someone, and then you didn't really like them, but you thought like, all of a sudden, just because I went on that one date, 75 people are going to come my way who are just perfect. Like that doesn't make sense.
Right. No, it doesn't.
But we think that in our businesses, we're like, but I put a post out there. Why are people coming? And it's like, you got to put in the energy and the effort and the magnetism. Magnetism is built through your energetic efforts, whether it's alignment of your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, right?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you're going to post, but the post itself isn't going to create the momentum. It's constant daily action toward it. And so you want to ask yourself, like, okay, if my email list is my main source of leads, how am I going to grow my email list? And then your brain will start brainstorming and daydreaming ways, and then just take one step in that direction. And then you'll watch these doors of opportunities open that were there the whole time that you just weren't looking for.
Okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. It has me excited.
Yay, that's my goal. That's awesome. Wonderful. Okay. So what's the one action step you're going to take after our biz breakdown session today?
I'm going to start growing my email list and going to my affiliate company and getting some names and some emails there, as well as Meetup. I haven't been using it as much as I should, and I need to get back on and use that as a source of growing that as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I can't wait to hear what happens. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's like, it's wild when we put ourselves out there in ways that are very direct. It changes the energy around it, right? It's like, it reminds me of what you're doing in theater world. You know, it's like when you put yourself out there vulnerably and revealed, and you really, you feel the energy of that. It's the same thing in promoting your business. It's like, put yourself out there, talk to more people, share what you have, knowing that you have a gift to bring to the world and that they're hurting without what you have. The right person is hurting for what you have. Like, they need you. And so, and they're searching for you, basically, you know, is how I like to think of it. And so, you know, once you start doing that, it develops this momentum and magnetism of its own. And to the point where you'll start to be like, I have so many leads coming in. It's awesome. I like, wow, this is great. And it just takes those first steps of clarity. So awesome. Okay. Will you share with everyone exactly where they can find you, just to repeat? I know you've already said it, but let's repeat.
Yes, no problem. So my website is bravewomentransform.com. And you can also email me, which is on the website. I won't give that to you now, but yes, please reach out with any questions that you have. I would love to talk and connect.
Perfect. Wonderful. It's making me think too, like, you know, any of the ladies out there, if you're thinking of doing like kind of like an experience with someone, you know, a friend, and bringing your friend, and you go through this together, like, it sounds like a really incredible transformative experience. So definitely check it out. bravewomentransform.com, bravewomentransform.com. So wonderful to have you here. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Absolutely. And thank you to all the beautiful women out there listening. Thanks for being here, everyone. And until next time, I'm sending you hugs and big NFA money-making high fives. We were right. Thank you for listening to the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. If you want to learn actionable strategies that magnetize money as a woman entrepreneur, go to thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com to register for an upcoming webinar. These are interactive webinars where you'll get to hang out with me and podcast fans live for powerful lessons about money mindset, manifestation, and business scaling strategies. Plus, there's live Q&A to get all of your questions answered. Again, go to thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com and click on the button to register for a live webinar now.